Welcome to the Southern and Murrumbidgee New South Wales Health iPhone SE setup. First of all, these iPhones, when they're delivered, already should have a SIM card installed. If you have an existing service, there is a phone number on the documentation, I'll show it here, that needs to be organised for the service to be transferred over from the existing mobile phone to this mobile phone. If it is a new mobile phone, it should be ready to go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn the mobile phone on, press and hold the top right hand power button until you see the Apple logo. Okay, you'll see this menu, or sometimes you might see this menu. Depends, both the same thing. If you see this menu first, just hit the home key and that should bring you back to the start of the configuration menu. So of course we're going to select English, and then you select your country of region, which is Australia. And here we have the quick start, so we're going to set it up manually. Now here's where we need the dependency of the phone to authenticate through the 4G service. So we were going to connect without Wi-Fi. It takes a second for it to come up, so you might just have to wait for it. So connect without Wi-Fi and continue. Now this will use the data pack on the phone. So if this process stops here, then we might need to make sure that you've actually got a working service. Okay, here we got our data and privacy, so we'll just continue through that. Touch ID, I always set up the Touch ID later. You may want to do that later at another time. At the moment, we're just going to don't use. Now here we've got a passcode. Now when you, if you tap passcode options, you're given a selection you can use here. I usually use the 4-digit numeric code rather than the 6 character. In this particular exercise, we're just going to use don't use passcode. But I will say this much, and that is that if you do use the native application for email, then eHealth policy imposes mandatory PIN passcode on the phone. And once you start, if you choose don't use passcode here, when you go to load email, it will ask you to set a passcode. So we're just going to use don't use passcode. Some selections here. So for us, it's going to be don't transfer. And in here, it's preferred not to have the phone locked down with an Apple ID. So we're going to forgot password, and it was going to select set up later in settings. And it was going to select here don't use. This is the terms and conditions. We're just going to agree to that. Update your phone automatically. I just hit continue on there. iMessage and FaceTime, and I just put not now just to get through this exercise. And location services, I enable them. They do help with mapping. Series, you can set that up later in settings. Screen time, you can set that up later in settings. iPhone analytics, I like to share with Apple. It's your preference. And also I do like to share with developers. That's also your preference. Appearance, you can have the light or you can have the dark. Whatever suits your eyes the most. And we just continue on with that. Display, zoom. I do like the icon zoomed. It just helps me. But you can have it standard if you like. You can fit in slightly more applications on the screen. Continue. Welcome to iPhone, and then hit the get started there, and we should be good to go. And there we are. We're set up.